Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to My Hometown. My name is Bill Horan, along with my co-host, Nassau Community College student Zac Turkel. And today we're shining the spotlight on the Special Olympics right here on Long Island.
Yes, and if you think it's cold outside now, just wait until we start talking about their upcoming Polar Plunge event. Special Olympics New York has over 66,000 athletes and unified partners training and competing year-round in 22 Olympic-style sports. And the best parts, that the athletes and their families or caregivers are never charged to participate.
As you mentioned, Zach, they have an event coming up on March 16th called the Polar Plunge, along with the Town of Oyster Bay. And I can't wait to hear about it and how we can help them out. So I'd like to welcome from the Special Olympics, their Director of Development, Jennifer Cantone. Jennifer, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, Jennifer, let's start out with the basics, and maybe some people have really never heard about the Special Olympics, so could you fill us in what they are and what their mission is?
Sure. Special Olympics New York, we are a sports organization. All of our athletes train and compete in any one of 22 Olympic-style sports. It's broken out into 3 seasons. We've got a winter season, a summer season, and a fall season. So depending on the season, depends on the sport that they are able to compete in. Our athletes are going 365 days a year, 52 weeks a year. They are constantly in the gym, in the pool, doing what they can do to better themselves and better their teammates. Because the goal for them is to win the gold medal at any one of our local 22 competitions that we have on the island each year, and in turn, go to our state competitions, and then some do well enough to go to national and world games. So we are a very exciting organization, one that all of our athletes have an intellectual disability. Some do have physical limitations, but in order to compete with us, you need to have an intellectual disability.
And if they win here on Long Island, if I understood you correctly, they then go on to another level of competition and maybe even another level past that.
Yes, they do have the opportunity to. Not all do. It all depends on the spots that, our Special Olympics New York is given. But yes, based upon their scores here on the island, they do have the opportunity to advance to USA Games or World Games.
Jennifer, you've mentioned that there is a winter, summer, and fall Olympic Games. Why not a spring Olympic Games? You're leaving spring out. Seriously, what's up with spring? You got a problem with spring?
Well, we just finished. There's 3 seasons that our athletes compete in, and we just finished our winter state games, our winter season, with culminating in our winter state games last weekend. And the sports that are offered in that one we have skiing, alpine skiing, we have figure skating, we have floor hockey, and we have snowshoeing. And our snowshoe athletes and our floor hockey athletes from the island participated this past weekend. And if you're wondering how, the snowshoe works, they train on the beach because that is the closest thing to snow. And actually it's a little bit harder, and it helps to build their muscles in their legs. And that is a fun event to watch for sure.
And it's not like every 2 or 4 years like the regular Olympics, is it?
Well, our Olympics here on the island, we have multiple. I mean, we could have a competition every weekend, pretty much, based upon the season. There are some that just include our athletes from Long Island, and then there's some that include we call super regional, where athletes from the New York City region and the Hudson Valley region will come down to compete, because we want to give our athletes the most opportunity to showcase their skills. And so that's how we do that. Now we have 3 big events, which is our spring games. We have 2 spring games, so there's your spring.
All right, good.
Because our athletes right now have moved into the summer season. So, and our summer season is aquatics and athletics. They're not running on the outdoor tracks just yet. But basketball, bowling goes year-round. Powerlifting, you should see what some of our athletes are able to lift. It would blow your mind. and tennis. So those athletes are training right now. We have two of our big athletic competitions, which would include, we have one, let me find out the date. It is on May 11th. That's our Spring Games North, and that's at Bethpage High School. And that will have track and field, tennis, powerlifting, and aquatics. So we will have approximately 600 athletes competing on that day. And on June 9th, we'll have our Spring Games South, which is track and field and powerlifting, and that is out at Hampton Bays High School. So the schools open up their facilities for us. They partner with us, and we're able to showcase our athletes and have a top-of-the-line competition. We have our track officials. It's all, our track officials are Section 8 and Section 11 qualified. So it's a big deal, and everybody should, if they have the time, come out and see and cheer our athletes on. You'll be amazed.
And Jennifer, I have one more question before we go back to Bill. I'm sorry,
Bill.
Okay.
Anytime.
No, but is there one event that's the biggest? Is it the winter? Is it the fall? Is it the summer? Which one is the biggest in your opinion? Or are they all equal?
The biggest one, as far as in terms of athlete participation, would definitely be our summer state games, because that includes all of our summer sports. And track and field is one of our bigger sports that most people participate in. And so we'll have more athletes that will come to that one. We've got multiple basketball teams that compete on the islands, but those for locally on Long Island, it's our two spring games, the one at Bethpage High School and the one at Hampton Bays High School, that are the biggest ones on the island for us. Now, those happen every year.
Jennifer, the Special Olympics, obviously this is a great project and a great effort. Can you tell us when it got started here on Long Island, and how did it actually get started? Because this is a great idea.
Yes. Special Olympics New York, Eunice Kennedy Shriver started Special Olympics in 1969, and in 1970, the New York chapter was formed. So we've been, in existence now, almost 50 years. Really?
So I've often heard of them, but I just didn't think it was that old. So you've been around 50 years.
Yes.
I knew it was
one of the Olympics International is 50 years old. Yep.
I knew it was one of the Kennedys that created it, but 50 years, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's really a great effort, and I'm sure what you're doing, and for everybody involved, whether it's an official, an administrator, the behind the scenes people, the good that they're doing and the good feeling they get, it's probably the kind of rewards that you just can't put into words.
It really is, and the fact that we don't charge our athletes or their families to participate, and that it costs us about $400 per athlete per season, we need the community support for that. But the athletes are just so genuinely thankful for everything everybody does for them. All of our coaches are volunteers, and they give up their time to coach our athletes. And it gives our athletes a sense of confidence, a sense of inclusion, a sense of belonging. They're able to make friends and grow and have the confidence to go out and get a job in the community, because participating with us they get to feel like any typical child feels that is able to join a soccer team or a volleyball team. So the change that we've seen in our athletes is tremendous. There was one athlete that when I started in 2013 that would just sit on the couch all day long and be on an iPad, and then we got him involved with us. And now he's participating in, I think, 8 different sports. He's out, I think, almost every night of the week. He is the team cheerleader. He encourages everybody. And the change, his parents are so grateful because we brought him out of a shell and gave him the chance to showcase what he's good at and the confidence to do it. And it also gets them off the couch and gets them active, and the exercise component. Everybody knows that you need to stay active. So we are doing some amazing things.
You really are.
I think that's what every parent wants. They want their kid to get off the couch.
Your mother said she wants you to get off the couch. She told me that, Zach. So.
I know that. I just want to let our listeners know that you are listening to My Hometown and the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Zac Turkel, along with Bill Horan, and today we're talking about the Special Olympics New York. with the Director of Development, Jennifer Cantone. And Jennifer, so let's talk about the special event coming up. You're calling it Frozen for a reason. It's the 6th annual Town of Oyster Bay Polar Plunge on Saturday, March 16th at Tobay Beach on Ocean Parkway. Now, I don't really like going to a beach in the middle of the winter, but I suppose there's a good reason to do so. Why is that?
Well, the Polar Plunge is one of our signature fundraisers here at Special Olympics New York. We actually have four across the island that we do, but this one is our Town of Oyster Bay Polar Plunge down at Tobay Beach. And we usually have about 400 people that will plunge with us. Now, they can go in. We plunge on the bayside down at Tobay. We have a whole festivities beforehand with sponsors and food and things like that take place. That registration will open at 9:30. Everybody plunges at 11:30, and then everybody leaves because everybody is cold and wet. But it is amazing. I went in the water last year down at Tobay with all of our plungers, and it is such an incredible, life-affirming, reinvigorating feeling. It really makes you great, makes you happy to be alive. And I know that sounds cliche, and I know that it, probably be like, yeah, right, whatever, you're cold. But, as we say, cold is temporary. Memories are forever, and this will directly benefit the athletes of Special Olympics New York. We have athletes that plunge with us. They will tell you that if you don't get your hair wet, it's not an actual plunge, but people can go in as far as they are comfortable. Some people just put their feet in. Some people go up to their knees. Some people will dunk. So it's a great family-friendly event. It can happen. It could be all ages. I've had children as young as 6 go in.
Now, Jennifer, can anyone take part in this? And do they sign up before, or just? I heard you say on that day, but sometimes you have to catch them while they're hot and maybe in a good mood or after a few drinks. So, can you get them beforehand to sign up?
Yes. If they go to polarplungeny.org/Tobay, you can register online. You can form a team. A team can be 2 people. And when you register online, you have the opportunity to send out the link to friends, family, co-workers, or post it all over social media that you're plunging for us. And get donations. And if you raise $150, you can get the commemorative sweatshirt right on site. And every year it changes. We've had some people that have been there since the beginning, and each year, they raise the $150 or more just to get the sweatshirt because they want, they love having the collection. And then the more money you raise, the better the incentive is that you get to choose from.
Now, people like Zach and myself, we like our ice water usually in a glass. Yeah. So let me ask you, can someone participate? I mean, obviously it's a very good cause that you're working for there. Can someone participate without actually getting wet or going out in that cold weather in their bathing suit?
Absolutely. We have a little spot off to the side for our chicken coop, which is 2 chicken to plunge.
That's where Zach and I would be.
That's where we'll be.
Yeah, 2 of us with WHPC T-shirts on. That's right.
Yes, anybody. You don't have. Obviously, we would love people to go in, but obviously, if it's something that you're not comfortable doing, even just by raising the money, you still get the benefit of receiving the sweatshirt and receiving the additional incentives.
Jennifer,
we just ask that if anybody is going to plunge with us, that they make sure that they have something on their feet because the ground does get very cold, and we want to make sure you have water shoes or old sneakers or something definitely on your feet.
I'll be in the chicken coop with Zach with a heater, and
I don't want any of my toes coming off with the ice. No,
Jennifer.
No, that's never happened.
Oh, whew,
Jennifer,
goodness.
While we're talking about that, I'm getting cold right now, but we're going to take a brief break and remind our audience that my name is Bill Horan. I'm here along with Zac Turkel, and today we're talking about the Special Olympics New York with their Director of Development, Jennifer Cantone. You're listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio pre-diabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because pre-diabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
My Hometown is made possible by Herald Community Newspapers. For more local news, visit liherald.com. Got a story to tell? Call 516-569-4000.
And now we return to My Hometown.
And thanks for being with us today here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Bill Horan, along with Zac Turkel, and today we're talking about the Special Olympics New York with their Director of Development, Jennifer Cantone. Jennifer, I think Zac had a question for you.
I do, and if anyone that's listening and they're very interested about this, how can they get in contact with you? By phone, or is there an email? How can they get in contact?
Phone would probably be the easiest, and my direct number is 631-458-4078.
All right, and we will mention that a few more times during the show if anyone did not jot that down. Stay tuned, and we'll announce the number later on in the show.
Now, Jennifer, are there other events coming up later in the year that maybe aren't so cold and that you can tell us about?
Yes. If we're looking for, we have on our website, which is specialolympicsny.org, is a listing of all of our upcoming events, and you can find out a whole bunch of more information about us. But we have a couple of runs that we have going on with that we involve our law enforcement, and they're called our Law Enforcement Torch Run. Our law enforcement and Special Olympics have an amazing partnership, and you'll see a lot of our law enforcement out at some of the bigger events, putting the medals around the athletes' necks and taking pictures and interacting with them, and it's absolutely fantastic. We've got our golf outing that we have on July 15th, which sold out last year, and we're anticipating that happening again this year, which is
Where's
awesome.
that?
That's at Old Westbury Golf and Country Club.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
We would all like to be in that. Okay. See, that's a little more our speed than jumping into that cold water, so I think we fit into that one a little better. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, that's okay. No, that's awesome. We have the golf outing is always there. It's two extremes because it's always so hot, and then you wish to be on a plunge day, and then when you're at the plunge, you wish that it was as hot as on the golf course.
Exactly.
So. Last year, for the first time, we did a CrossFit challenge with some of our CrossFit gyms, which we're going to be doing again in the fall, which was an amazing. They did a rowing competition inside the CrossFit Garden City. Was awesome enough to partner with us, so that was great. And then we actually have some spots for the New York City Marathon. We are an official partner with them, and we have a bunch of spots that if anybody is interested in running in the New York City Marathon, there is a whole bunch of criteria that we have. But if we have any runners out there that would like more information, you can give me a call. So that some of our bigger fundraisers, but like I said, our competitions are happening all year round. Our next big competition is on March 9th. We've got a basketball tournament out at Long Island Lutheran High School in Brookville. So, that'll bring all of our basketball teams from across the island, and then they're starting to, train and compete to get ready for our summer state games in June.
So I want to go back to the programs that the Special Olympics offers. Can you tell us about the Young Athlete Program?
Sure. Our Young Athlete Program is for our athletes that are between the ages, I believe, of 2 and 7. Because once you turn 8 years old, you can start participating and competing in the official Special Olympics. But the Young Athletes Program it's a program that we bring to local schools, and also, if we've got volunteers, to bring them to local communities where the younger kids just learn the basics. They'll learn how to hold a softball, how to throw a softball, how to hold and bounce a basketball, it's just getting them familiar with the equipment and do some basic learning of the skills that they would need once they would, advance to the bigger teams.
Jennifer, sometimes there are, I'm sure, athletes with severe disabilities, and I've heard that you have something called the Motor Activity Training Program. Could you tell us about that?
Yes, that's basically through our school program, and that is the athletes that are severely disabled or in wheelchair we give them the opportunity to compete. We'll have wheelchair races. We'll have the equipment is a little bit more modified for them. Maybe they'll hold the basketball and the hoop will be right in front of them, and the rim will be a lot wider, just to give them the opportunity to get in their exercise and be able to participate and get the confidence that they're able to make a basket.
That's a great idea.
That is mostly of our in-house school programs.
And there's no reason we have to stick to the rules that may apply to the 7-footers in the NBA in terms of size and baskets. And if it makes for a fun game, that's what we all are really looking for.
Yep, for our MATP, yes. But for our regular athletes that are competing in our basketball program, they need to follow the rules. They need to make sure that they can't participate if they're in jeans. They need to be in athletic wear. The baskets are the same height. The courts are the same size. So we are a true blue regulated sports training competition. There is the only modification that we would do would be when we have our spring games, we'll have a softball throw as opposed to I can't think of the big ball that the regular Olympics uses. I can't think of that name. And our javelin is not as sharp, and it's plastic as opposed to the metal. Those are the only modifications that we have. If you're an athlete and you're running and you're training, now obviously our athletes are training for this competition. If they run out of their lane, they're disqualified. It seems kind of it might seem a little harsh to some people, but we are we take pride in the fact that we're a true competition, and our athletes appreciate that and don't want to be changed and don't want to be singled out that it's not, like the regular Olympics, so it's...
Sounds like a lot of fun.
It really is.
Everybody.
It really is. The joy that we've had one athlete who is amazing, and I'll talk more about because we've got 2 athletes going to World Games, which I would love to mention. But the one athlete that is going to World Games, he can run a 4-minute mile, and I don't know many people who can run a 4-minute mile. I know I sure can't, but he's been known, to when he runs the 1500, he'll finish it, and then he'll go back to the person who is in last place, and he'll run with them until they finish, and encouraging him. You can do it. You got this. And then there's also been times where he's finished and he's come in first, and he's taken himself out of the medals because he's like, you know what? I have too many medals. Let's let everybody else get a medal.
That's nice.
That is just the camaraderie and the spirit that is special.
And that's the way it always should be.
And I just want to let our listeners know that you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Zac Turkel, along with Bill Horan. And today we're talking about the Special Olympics in New York with the Director of Development, Jennifer Cantone. And Jennifer, who acts as coaches for the program of the Special Olympics in New York? Is that a paid position or a volunteer position?
They're all volunteer coaches.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We have 6 paid staff for the islands. We've got 7,400 athletes on Long Island that participate with us, and our numbers. We just got the 2018 census, and our numbers went up. So we've got over 67,000 athletes now in the state of New York, and we're the 6th largest chapter in the world, which is incredible to think that we've got more athletes competing with us in New York than some small countries do. So the numbers keep going up, and that is great because we want to offer our program to as many people as possible. So thank you for having me on, because programs like this gets the word out to parents and to, maybe there's somebody in your family, a cousin or somebody, who you're looking to get involved and looking to get into sports, who might have an intellectual disability.
Now,
give us a call, and we'll get you in touch with one of our coaches and start the process.
Give us the number again, Jennifer, if you can.
Sure, 631-458-4078.
Okay.
Now, Jennifer, we're going to find out more about the Polar Plunge, but you just mentioned you wanted to give special credit to one or two athletes who were going, I think you said the World Games?
Yes, we've got, let me backtrack a little bit. USA Games was held last July in Seattle, Washington. So that is similar, that is all the athletes from the United States. If you, based upon the spots that New York had gotten and other states, the spots that they get, we're all in Seattle, Washington, competing, which is a really big deal for our athletes. And we had 3 from Long Island. We had a swimmer who came home with a gold and 2 silver medals. We had a bowler who came home. He came home with, I believe, 2 silver medals. And then we had a female powerlifter who came home with 4 gold medals. So it just proves that all of their training, was able to get them to the level that was able for them to be selected to go to USA Games in Seattle, Washington. And their whole trip and their whole experience was all covered. Them or their families didn't have to spend any money on it, and that is thanks to corporations and events like our Polar Plunges and our golf outings that we were able to do this.
Now, Jennifer, let me ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot now. Do you take part in the Polar Plunge?
I do.
You do?
I do. Yep. I have. I did the Tobay one that we're talking about. I did that one last year. And then I've done one in November twice, and then one in April that I've done once. Yep.
Now, let's say someone wanted to sponsor their boss, like maybe at a well-known radio station here on Long Island called WHPC. Can the employees get together and sponsor their boss and stand there and take pictures of him or her as they jump into those cold waters?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Zach.
Yes.
All righty.
I think we have to plan.
I'm putting my money in there.
Yes, you have to spread the word to the other people around the station here.
Alrighty.
I think we're going to. We may be fired after this show, but that's okay. We're doing it for a good cause. So
I hope not.
Now,
so yes, absolutely. It's a lot of companies use this event as team building. We offer community service for any students that want to participate with us. So that is great for anybody looking for hours for college or for confirmation. Anything that you can need community service for. And participating in the Polar Plunge with us will get you community service.
And real quickly, just tell us again the date and the location for the Polar Plunge.
It is Saturday, March 16th, down at Tobay Beach, which is on Ocean Parkway, just east of Jones Beach. And we plunge on the bay side, not on the ocean side.
And what time?
Registration starts at 9:30. And we plunge at 11:30.
And bring your boss, and you'll have a lot of fun.
Yes, yep. We are a very safe plunge. Everybody has to check in with us to get a bracelet. And then we plunge in waves. We've got divers in the water to make sure nobody goes out too far, and in case anybody trips or falls. And we are very, very safe, and everybody goes in waves. So there's never a fear of being knocked over. So that's something that we pride ourselves on.
Jennifer, we want our audience to know that we appreciate and want to thank Jennifer Cantone, the Director of Development for Special Olympics New York, for being with us today here on My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC.
We'd like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to whpc@ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.